that I think parents don't know is that the nannying community for professional nannies is a very close-knit community. It's also very small. So there are a lot of nannies that know other nannies. And so what ends up happening is that there will be a bad interview, or maybe a family says, can you tell me how old you are? And things like that, which is understandable. Those families want to know, but that's an illegal question to ask. And so that nanny then is a little upset or a little worried and ends up talking about it. And then there isn't any other nannies that are open to interviewing with that family because they had a difficult experience with them. So definitely there's pitfalls without just knowing and having that information, and just from, I think, from invalid resources. And sometimes parenting boards, the parents that got really lucky will speak up, but they don't, you don't hear too many stories where families were accused of unlawfully discriminating or things like that, because that's not a fun story to tell.
But it happens.
Absolutely. I would say more than not. Families can, they might get very lucky and then something falls through, or 6 months down the line, they just didn't talk about a snow day. A snow day is a perfect example. In July, you're not thinking about snow days. But come January, there's a snow day, and who gets that day off, and what is it like, and talking about that and things like that. So parents and sometimes nannies don't feel comfortable sharing their information, sharing that their knowledge, because they worry that it's going to risk their job. So if families have this information in advance, then it's helpful. You don't fall into situations down the line that can be challenging.
So you talked a little bit about just like the importance of really following the rules around this, and like contracts, is that all part of this? Does the toolkit cover that area, and pay and how that should be done?
Absolutely. And there's 3 different levels of the toolkit. Really making sure that there's a level that fits for every family's budget, but also coincides with their needs as well. So with the toolkit, there's lots of different things. The gold buckle level is what really every family needs to have. And that would include everything, talking about going rates and responsibilities, and contracts are extremely important. The Nanny Toolkit even offers a contract template, which is extremely helpful. They don't have to go through a lawyer or try to gather this information on their own. They literally can put in their information and they have a contract for them. I would say we probably get more families that recognize an expert and say, we don't even want to try this. I always relate it back to when you change your oil. I could YouTube how to change my oil, and I would probably figure it out. Number one, I do not want to get under my car and get messy or anything like that. But I just know that sometimes money well spent is towards an expert and that knowledge, and really just making sure that they can do it correctly. So I only use that because absolutely there's a lot of things that us as parents, working professionals, we can do and we have the ability to do. It just matters how much time are you willing to take to do that, and also to learn that. But when is it time to really call in the professional? And the Nanny Toolkit is the professional in this instance. So absolutely, we run into experiences where families say, you know what, we're not even going to try. And then we do have families that come to us and they say, we've been looking for 3 months and we've been trying, or we had this nanny and all of a sudden she just didn't show up one day. What did we do wrong? What did she do wrong? What are some signs that we didn't look for? So that we get I would say it's pretty split down the middle between families that are looking for, that have a bad experience, or that they just want to come to us in the beginning.
So obviously, Maggie, you're passionate about this field, and you've been teaching for years around the area about teaching parents how to really tackle this. What was the most fun for you, kind of creating this toolkit and crafting this resource for families?
You know, the fun part for me was really having that one-stop shop where it was gathered all together, and the finished product and how amazing and helpful it is. When we were doing tests and things like that, and having families that were telling us, I don't know how I would have done this without it. I don't know if I would have had questions to ask, or I didn't even really think about talking to references and things like that. So that was extremely fun for us, just to have that in one place where we know that families can go to and have this tool, but hearing things from families saying how great it was and how helpful it was. And again, just saying they can't imagine doing it without it.